Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rourke here coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Anthem. Now, in case you guys are still on the fence about this title, I'd advise you to check out my in-depth review that I put quite a bit of work into, and naturally the YouTube's notification system isn't really going to help me all that much with that, so I'm going to be linking it on the top right-hand side of this video in case you missed out on it so that you can know my full opinion about this game. So, anyway, today we're going to be talking about the updated roadmap that Bioware has put out, which is a much more detailed version than the thing that they teased a couple of weeks ago. And I'm going to be going in depth into this update and how I feel about each of the different things that is coming to the game. Now, before I get started, though, I feel it is important to mention that one of my least favorite things to do in Anthem is actually free play. Now, the reasoning behind that is because currently free play feels quite a bit unpolished. I mean, you don't really have indicators that let you know when a world event is happening, so you're left to basically fly by a location close enough to a world event that is happening, and then you'll get a notice on your comms like, hey, there's this thing happening over here, you can go there and help out. So basically, if you just log into the map and you open up the map, it's going to seem like it's empty and nothing is happening. The other thing is usually players, at least from my experience up until this point, if I queue into free play solo, players are going to be scattered throughout the map. You might have like one player way off into the distance trying to look for Arcanist runes, or maybe he's trying to do the chest quest and he's just trying to look for chests. You might have two other players that are on the other edge of the map and maybe they're just killing random stuff. Or if you're lucky, maybe those two other players are actually trying to do world events, at which point you might try to join them. But even then, if you start doing a world event together, it doesn't mean that you will necessarily follow each other after that world event is over, because there really isn't any reason to do so. And you know that once that is over, most likely none of you will actually have like an indicator onto where the next world event is. So I just feel that there needs to be quite a bit of polish into the free play section of the game in order for it to be a more enjoyable experience if you're queuing into it solo. If, on the other hand, you queue into it with a full pre-made group of friends, then sure, free play can be a lot of fun. You can all be flying around through the world and someone says, hey, I found a world event, and everybody collapses onto that person and you guys can take on the world event, or you go onto one of the mini dungeons of the game and have some fun that way. So yeah, free play can be a lot of fun if you're playing with friends, but you're not always playing with friends. And if you queue into a free play solo, getting stuff done can be challenging, to say the least. And you guys are like, well, why did this matter? And you guys will see why once we dive into the updates that are coming. So anyways, it says right here, Year 1, step into the world of Anthem. Act 1, Echoes of Reality. The world of Anthem is a dangerous place, chaotic, unpredictable, a world left unfinished, which this particular sentence has actually become a meme now, understandably, and abandoned by the gods. As a freelancer, you are one of the elite few chosen to fight against the chaos, to wield the power of your javelin and bring order to the madness. So the first thing that they talk about here is the recurring updates. These are like your weekly activities and stuff like that. I mean, the very first thing mentioned is quality of life. They're saying, oh, we're going to keep patching the game. We're going to continue to improve it. And to their credit, they've been doing so. I mean, the game came out on the 22nd, and on the 21st, which was one day before the game actually came out, they released the day one patch, which already improved a lot of things in the game. And I do mean, as someone that played the build that came out on the 15th, like, the build that came out on the 21 really improved a lot of stuff. It also introduced some new bugs for some people in different hardware and stuff. It improved the load times. It's like, it was a bit of a messy patch. Like, I think overall it was positive, but there were also some new problems reported. But interestingly enough, just on the 23rd, it's like, boom, another patch. And this patch was actually 10 gigabytes on PS4. And I was like, Jesus Christ, what the hell? So they're clearly keeping up, and they are updating the game and basically trying to fix as much of the game as they can to keep people playing it, because we all know at the end of the day that this was very much a rushed release. But anyway, the other recurring updates we have here is the weekly Alliance coin. This is the game's Alliance system, which is constantly happening. So the way this works is you got 5 players in your friends list, hopefully. If they're not in your friends list, then they will be populated by random people that you play with in the game. And basically, the more each of you guys play on this alliance system, the more coin everybody in there is going to win, so that you can then either spend that on cosmetics or crafting materials or whatever. Then you got your challenges, which are your daily, weekly, and monthly challenges. Again, these reward coin. And finally, the Prospero Store Refresh, which is constantly updating with new items that you can purchase either with in-game currency or with real-life money. These are the recurring updates. That means that these will be happening pretty much all the time, as opposed to the rest of the stuff, which is going to be timed events. So let's begin by taking a look at what is happening in February 2019. So you get new free play event, Outlaw Outrage, new free play event, There Be Giants, new free play event, Shaper Surge. So yesterday, I actually spent quite a bit of time in free play, but granted, on the PS4, I'm still not at maximum level. So maybe these are events that only spawn for maximum level players. I'm not entirely sure. But basically, I did not run into a single instance of Outlaw Outrage, There Be Giants, or Shaper Surge. Now, There Be Giants appears to actually reward players with a cosmetic item. I've seen a couple of videos talking about this. Personally, I haven't seen the event myself. I still need to actually get started playing proper on PS4. Outlaw Outrage, again, still don't know what this is. And Shaper Surge, I'm assuming it's going to be something about silencing relics. Again, not exactly sure, but basically all of these are free play events, and that is why I talked about free play at the start of this video, so that I wouldn't have to repeat myself. This is basically like one event that is going to be in rotation. I mean, 3 new events that are going to be in rotation among all of the events that happen whenever you are in free play. And it also reveals that a lot of their development time is going into adding these different events into free play. And in my opinion, if that's what they're doing, they really, really need to make free play a much more robust gameplay experience. Let me know if you guys disagree with that in the comment section down below. And do remember that I'm talking about this from the sense of someone that is trying to queue into free play as a solo player. Okay, if you go in with a full group, the difference is completely, the experience is completely different. I completely agree with that. But if you're going in solo or maybe even 2 players, it's not going to be as much fun. But anyway, continuing onwards. Then on March 2019, we have the Evolving World Update. And this one actually has a couple of interesting things. For starters, we have the Elysian Stronghold caches. And these are going to be cosmetics that you will get for actually completing strongholds. You're going to be getting keys for completing daily events, the daily challenges that are mentioned here. And once you get those keys, you can go into a stronghold and you can open these Elysian Stronghold caches, and you will be able to get cosmetic items from them, specific items from each of the strongholds. I think this is a very important thing to do, because currently in the full campaign experience, you can basically go through the whole campaign and not pick up a single piece of cosmetic loot. Now, you can buy some at the store with in-game currency, but you can't like organically get it by playing the game, which is frustrating. A lot of people want their characters to look different, to be like, hey, I've done this thing, give me some cosmetic loot that lets others know that I've done this thing, this achievement that I've got, you know, like that would be an interesting thing. And that appears to be what they're trying to do with the Elysian Stronghold caches. This is one of the more positive updates, in my opinion. Then we have new items. We already have a lot of people complaining that the current itemization in the game does have problems. Hopefully with these new items will also come a couple of itemization fixes, like we have guns that only deal impact damage, and then they receive rolls of like, hey, this gun deals 200% more elemental damage, which basically in the grand scheme of things does absolutely nothing for you if your gun only deals impact damage. So hopefully with these new items that they're adding, they'll also fix the itemization, which currently has a lot of problems. Then they're adding legendary missions, phase 1. These legendary missions are essentially the missions that you do during the campaign, except they pump up the difficulty to legendary level, and I'm assuming they also bump up the rewards that you'll be getting for doing them. This is something that I'm actually curious to do, because it will at least give us a little bit more variety in the activities that we're doing, so that it's not all about, hey, it's strongholds, contracts, or free play, and that's it. Having the legendary missions, I think, is going to be a good thing. And, but yeah, I still need more, you know. Then we got a new free play event. It's Cortex locked. That means that they're not going to reveal what this free play event is. And once again, we have There Be Giants, Outlaw Outrage, and another event that is also Cortex locked. So we're not going to be getting the Shaper's, is it called Shaper Storm? No, it's not Storm. It's the Shaper Surge during March. Instead, we're going to get these 2 new free play events, and we will see what they're about. But basically, what this is pointing out to me is that they expect the big recurring activity that players get involved in is free play. And again, that just hasn't been my personal experience. I end up doing more contract and strongholds than necessary free play, but maybe I'm in the minority there. That's another thing that I want to know. Comment section down below. Let me know what is your preferred activity for endgame in Anthem. Anyway, in April 2019, we have one of the biggest updates yet. It is called Stronger Together. They're going to be bringing in the expanded progression mastery system. For those of you that don't know what this is, they used to have this skill pilot tree where you would gain skills as you would level up, but they scrapped that in favor of components, the components that you equip onto your javelin. However, it seems that they are now working this into like a post-endgame type of system, almost like a Paragon system in Diablo 3. And I don't mean exactly like the Paragon system. I mean, it's something that you do once you get to endgame. So they're going to be expanding your progression that way. I'm very curious to see what this is going to be like. Then they're going to be adding a couple of new items in there. I do expect them to like at least add specific items for strongholds at some point, and I think it would make sense because with this particular update in April 2019, we're also going to get a new stronghold. So it would make sense to get stronghold specific items, actually get a couple of loot that you can chase by doing a specific activity, because currently you can get everything by doing anything. And, it's not the most rewarding thing that you can do. But anyways, then we have 1, 2, 3 Cortex locked free play events. So these are going to be free play events that we haven't seen before. Again, adding a bunch of more stuff into free play. We have the Shaper Surge coming back as a free play event again. And then we have 1, 2, 3. So that is a combined total of 6 new free play events and the return of Shaper Surge. Again, adding a bunch of new content into free play and just trying to push more players out into free play, which to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because I don't think that is the main thing that you should be doing in Anthem right now. But again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys are actually all enjoying free play a lot more than I am, and maybe it's just me, and maybe I need to adapt my gameplay style. Either way, then we have Legendary Missions Phase 2, and this is, again, we talked about the Legendary Missions on the previous update. It's going to be the same thing, but it's going to be new missions added onto that thing, so it's going to be new campaign missions that you will be able to do on a Legendary difficulty. Then we have a new Stronghold, and I gotta say, I hope that for this particular Stronghold, they really do something that stands out from all the other Stronghold experiences that currently exist in the game. Because let's face it, I like doing the Strongholds, but I mean, the Strongholds are not like super complex. Like you look at the Tyrant Mine, you got what? You got 3 relic silencing activities, and then a major boss fight, right? You look at the Scar, the Temple of the Scar, whatever it's called. You got a bunch of drop the explosives here and blow this stuff up, kill a bunch of enemies, and then finally you have a boss fight at the end, right? It's not super complex. I want to see more boss fights. I want to see more interesting mechanics, like the ones that we get on the boss fights themselves, Like I want to see more of that and less of just like hordes of monsters being thrown my way. So I really do hope that the Sunken delivers. And I'm assuming that, considering that it's called the Sunken, you probably have to go underwater to go to the entrance. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, then we also have Social Play Weekly Stronghold Challenge. Now, we already have challenges that consist of you doing strongholds, so I'm not sure what this means. Could it be doing a stronghold in a certain time frame? I hope that's not the case. Could it be do a stronghold and achieve a certain amount of combos? That might be interesting. I don't know. Could it be modifiers in strongholds? Like, hey, this stronghold now has, I don't know, more Scar enemies, or this stronghold now has the minion enemies, and you get a bit of a different experience. Like, think of the Tyrant Mine, except instead of the Scar being there, now you have the Dominion there, and you have the Dominion turrets, and you have the Dominion enemy types. It'd be a bit of a different variety. And then instead of in the tunnels, instead of you having the Scorpions, you could have the Scar being there. I don't know. Just switch it up a little bit. That's what I'm saying. Could that be the challenges that they're talking about? I don't know. Legendary strongholds? Who knows? Anyway, Then we also have social play leaderboards. This is going to be something like, hey, I've done the stronghold in this amount of time, or I've done the stronghold, then we did this amount of damage. I don't know, but basically leaderboards, we all know what they're going to be. And finally, social play guilds. And this is very important for me. I want to get started with an Ironbreakers guild, both on PS4 and most likely on PC as well. So that will definitely be a thing once guilds come into play. And then finally, what is going to be the most important update of all is only going to come in May. And this is concerning because you guys know that on March, Anthem is going to be facing fierce competition from the Division 2. Now, we already know that the Division 2 is a looter shooter. It is established and pretty much scratches the same itch as Anthem. And there's already a lot of players that I've seen say, hey, you know, once the Division hits, I'm going to be playing the Division. Then I might come back to Anthem later. And I think there's going to be a struggle there, particularly with a lot of people getting in on Anthem through the EA Origin Access Premier program. Once that first month lapses, how many people are actually going to be buying the game? You know, how many people are going to continue playing the game? It is going to be some very troubled times for Anthem, I think. Personally, I'm still interested in checking it out. I'm still interested in playing and seeing all the content that they're going to be putting out because I like the game. Despite all of its flaws, like I said, I like the moment-to-moment gameplay. I think it is doing something with that flight mechanic that nobody else is doing, and I think it is a lot of fun. So anyways, in May, we're going to be seeing the Cataclysm. Now, I'm actually curious about something when it comes to the Cataclysm, because like if you guys remember, the first campaign that we did was a cataclysm. The Heart of Rage is a cataclysm. That is, the whole campaign is the story about the Heart of Rage. All of the things, all of the actions that you take, all of the characters that you interact with, it is all building up towards that moment where you go back into the Heart of Rage. So the Cataclysm being a thing in May, I'm wondering if this could be like a mini campaign, like actually have a bunch of missions, because they specifically say there's going to be new missions, Cortex locked. And I'm hoping that these new missions basically chain together to form like I'm not even sure that I would want a mini campaign. I would actually like to see a campaign kind of like the one that we got with more story pieces and more cutscenes and stuff like that. Maybe that's expecting too much of the game, but that's kind of like something I feel they need to deliver because, the main campaign was not particularly long. A lot of players finished that campaign pretty fast. They just jumped into endgame instantly, and a lot of people just kind of burned through the content, right? So it'd be great if this kind of gave us another campaign, and then, you know, maybe 3 months from now, 4 months from now, they have another mini campaign going on. Like, I think that would be a really cool thing. Whether or not that is what happens is going to remain to be seen. But if that's not it, like, you can't just be like, oh yeah, the sky is gonna grow orange like they did during the open demo, like they did during the open demo, and it's like, hey, here's an ancient ash titan. That's just not gonna fly. So they better come up with something really special for this Cataclysm. Whether or not that is gonna happen, we shall see. We also have a new free play event, which is also Cortex locked. They're not giving us any details. And finally, we're gonna be getting new items as rewards. They don't specifically, well, I guess this could be anything. Like, it was a little bit surprising for me because you see here new items, and you got the Masterworks logo behind it, and on this one you don't. And I'm wondering why that is. Are they going to be adding like actual maybe new weapon types into the game? Like, instead of having just the 3 of each that you currently have for shotguns, maybe they'll add a new variant of the shotgun. Could that be why this one doesn't have the Masterwork logo? I don't know. But either way, that's all we know so far. Here's Act 2, which is definitely going to involve the Scar in some fashion. And finally, Act 3, which I suspect is going to be about well, actually, I can talk about that because that would be spoilers if I would talk about that. So let's not get into it. But basically, anyone who's finished the game and sees this image will have an idea what this could be related to. But yeah, that is the current roadmap. And like I said, my biggest concern is that there's so much emphasis being placed on free play, and free play just doesn't feel like it's robust enough to be the main activity that players are doing in Anthem. What do you think about all this? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. If you guys enjoy my videos, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.